Kano State. What was once a colorful and deeply symbolic cultural celebration has been silenced, and with it, the heartbeat of a thriving tourist economy. The annual Hauwan Sallah Durbar, a grand post-Eid celebration that draws thousands of spectators, royal cavalcades, and tourists from around the world, was cancelled this year, triggering concerns not just about cultural erosion, but economic fallout. According to the Kano State government, the cancellation has led to extensive revenue loss, discouraged both local and foreign investors, and disrupted grassroots development efforts. Our News Central's Emmanuel Bagudu was in Kano to speak with key stakeholders. Let's take a look at this report.
The look on their faces tells it all. No one here seems to be happy with the decision of the federal government to continuously cancel the most revered Salah ceremony in Kano, the annual Sallah Durbar. A tradition spanning over a century now is gradually at the brink of extinction. The popular Durbar, known by residents as Hauwan Sallah, is an event that has gained the status of the UNESCO cultural heritage, but has not been taking place for the last 2 years, following cancellation by the federal government over reasons of insecurity.
These annual festivities became...
The Kano State government has raised a burning concern, saying that the Asian city is being denied the opportunity to host international tourists and investors who throng the state to witness the annual event, a situation the federal government should have considered.
When these tourists come from all over the world, go to our popular market, the Kurmi, where these things are sold, and sometimes they go to Central Hotel where these artifacts are displayed. They make a choice and buy. When Prince Edward came to Nigeria to represent his mother then, was taken to Kano and was treated to this august Durbar that happens every year. And he was so perplexed, he was so happy that he kept on referring to the Kano Durbar.
While the federal government through security agencies have consistently cited intelligence report of a possible hijacking of the carnival by hoodlums, the Kano State government is not convinced, as it claims the action is significantly affecting a loss in the state revenue accrued during the ceremony.
Well, if you know how budgets are made, you project what you are going to earn internally as internally generated revenue, we call IGR. And also you take account of what you get from the federation account. Since the federal government decided to deny us these revenues that come in, we were trying to start to beg the federal government to start thinking on how to compensate us by giving us some reparations.
The Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Tajo Othman, says that there is an urgent need for intervention of the President to end this action.
We have 44 local governments, and if on the average Mr. President can be gracious enough to augment each local government to say about 5 billion, that will go a long way.
Many residents of the state will be hoping that these requests will be looked into, as President Bola Tinubu has pledged to provide all citizens with the dividends of democracy. In Kano for News Central, Emmanuel, Bagudu.
A very interesting instance here regarding the commerce there in Kano as it regards to Durbar and the cancellation or what it's caused. But let's take a short break, and when we come back, we'll be introducing our guests, of whom we'll be having this very interesting conversation with.
And you're welcome back. And we continue with our second big report for today. We head to Kano as our correspondent, Emmanuel Bagudu, joins us live, who filed that report earlier as the state government in Kano frowns at the cancellation of the Durbar to celebrate the Salah or the Eid celebration. Also joining us is Malami Ibrahim. He is the president or the director of the state's National Guild, Actors Guild Association. They both join us live virtually. Well, Emmanuel, first of all, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you for coming on, and also to you, Mr. Malami Ibrahim. Let me start with you, Emmanuel. You've covered Durbars in the past. How different was the atmosphere in Kano this year without the festival? Second year in a row.
Yeah, actually, this is different. 2 years without Durbar is boring for the people of Kano. And I feel that, of course, it's a deliberate attempt to, send their tradition into extinction. So it's a feeling of sadness, it's a feeling of melancholy, it's a feeling of nostalgia. Of course, that lovely tradition that used to bring visitors across the world, that lovely tradition, that lovely activity that used to bring investors, giving them jobs, businesses flourishing as a result of, the Durbar, that is not happening. So it's something new, it's something strange to them, and they're not really finding it funny at all. Yeah.
Now, the Commissioner for Local Government emphasized the significant losses. Can you give us an idea of what sectors are losing second year in a row without the Durbar being celebrated? Emmanuel.
Yes, the Commissioner is actually, okay. The Commissioner is actually bringing out, reading out the impact of the cancellation of the Durbar. And he made mention of the fact that their budget is tied into internally generated revenue. Part of the budget of the state is being funded by the internally generated revenue from the state. And this internally generated revenue is actually most of it is gotten from the activities of this Durbar, which happens actually 5 different occasions in the year during the Eid al-Fitr and during the Eid al-Kabir. Different emirs troop out, and of course the paramount emir, which is the emir of Kano, actually is the attraction of the whole world, where they come in, people come in on Mars from different countries. He made mention of Prince Edward of England, who once visited Kano, and of course has placed Kano in the international pedestal because of that Durbar. So it's a lot of money being lost, and in terms of figures, he quoted the fact that a good chunk of the funding of the budget comes from activities of the Durbar, which a huge amount of money. He made it clear that at least each local government currently will require at least out of the compassion of Mr. President, each local government will require at least 5 billion naira to actually resuscitate based on the money being lost from the internally generated revenue. So it's a huge loss as far as they're concerned, because they have to look for another way of generating money, because Durbar has been cancelled for 2 years. And it's something that the federal government has to compensate them in terms of reparations. That is what the commissioner said in clear terms. Yeah.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Mr. Ibrahim, let's come to you now. Mr. Ibrahim, there are 2 things here. We're talking about the commerce that this engages the people of Kano with, and also the profit that comes therein. However, there's also the cultural aspect of it, and it seems that there seems to be a cultural erosion currently, with the past 2 years it being cancelled. I also remember that there was a Durbar that was cancelled that had to do with the emirship, if I'm not mistaken. These are cultures that people have lived for aeons with, and all of a sudden we find ourselves one after the other simply taking one aspect out, next year another one out. These are for security concerns, is what we hear. But do you think that the authorities are not being perhaps too proactive when it comes to the issue of security? Could there be other alternatives, security options that could be taken so the Durbar could go on instead of outright cancellation? What are your thoughts?
But actually, the politicians are making it hard for Kano, especially those that leave Kano to national. They have interest, and because they're making it hard for Kano's people. Durbar has been for almost 1,000 years. And nothing like endeavor without thoughts. The wounds of this, that the ever without behavior for
Unfortunately, there we seem to have problems with the network is pretty iffy. Emmanuel, let's come to you while we're waiting for Mr. Ibrahim to perhaps maybe rejoin us. Regarding the activities of the authorities, the security authorities, the policing, or whatever authorities are involved in creating security for the Durbar, do you think that there might be alternatives that could have been taken instead of outright cancellations? And I also heard Mr. Ibrahim say something about the politicizing of the event or the situation around it. What do you have to say to that?
Well, the truth of the matter is that the Emirate field has been responsible for this situation. I can say that categorically because I've been reporting the Emirate field for at least more than a year now, since May 2024. So, and we know the etymological, or rather the history or the roots of the Emirate crisis, the current Emirate crisis in Kano. So when you are bringing, when you hear people mention that politics has been responsible for this kind of confusion, then it's right. It's right to say that. Why did I say that? Is because, of course, we know we heard from the package I produced, the statement and the body language of the deputy governor and the Emir of Kano, Mohammed Sanusi II, is full of melancholy. Sanusi made it clear that he was ordained, he was turbaned on the 8th of June 2014 as the 14th Emir of Kano, and he made it clear that during that time there are a lot of political upheavals that actually made it very difficult for him to be on seat. Sanusi made it clear that time that there are people that were asked to actually even go and get a court order to swear that they didn't ordain him as a 14th Emir of Kano. He made it clear on that video, speaking in Hausa. And then that is politics. That is politics. And then all of a sudden also he was now removed, by the Ganduje administration, and they were later reinstated by the administration of Abba Kabir Yusuf. And then of course the post-Emir did not give up. So these are the things that actually brought a lot of clashes. And what I would like to know, politics is there. And the main reason why Kano should be stabilized is when these politicians actually take full responsibility of the well-being and the welfare of their electorates, and make sure that people of Kano continue to enjoy peace in general. Everybody has to sacrifice, both from the subjects and both from the government and from the government. Everybody has to sacrifice to make sure that Kano don't lose revenues, development. You can see the passion of the sitting government. I'm not holding brief for them, but the passion is very clear. There shouldn't be any truncated activity. They should be able to given that level playing ground. Politicians must sacrifice to make sure that everything goes fine in Kano. Yeah.
Right. I mean, Emmanuel, you make a fair point there. The truth of the matter is that oftentimes, as the African adage we say, when the elephants fight, it's only the grass that suffers, or is the land that, I don't know, I can't complete it. But one thing is clear, it's the people of Kano that, that are feeling this when it comes to revenue into all of this. Ibrahim, if you are still with us, I'd like to just get your final thoughts on this, what your final parting words, at least just for 30 seconds or 1 minute, the way forward as we look forward to 2026, the Eid celebration. Unfortunately, we cannot hear Ibrahim there. Malami Ibrahim, unfortunately, we can't take your submission there because of your connectivity. But thank you once again, Emmanuel Bagudu, our correspondent live from Kano. They're giving us that report following the cancellation, second year in a row, cancellation of the Durbar celebration in Kano State, and also to Mr. Malami Ibrahim, who's the director of the Actors Guild Association in Kano State.